Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Friday, June 1st, 2018. My name is Rich, and here to celebrate the begin of ANW10 with me is Bijan. How are you making out?
I'm fantastic, man. I'm so excited. American Ninja Warrior is back. Official, man. Oh, it's great. And, hey, who's that handsome fella in the montage right over there, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys all caught that, but Bijan's got a little sneak peek there in the preview, little montage at the beginning.
Yep. Yeah, exciting, man. Guys, just a reminder, you'll be able to see me next week on American Ninja Warrior, so set those DVRs. It's happening. And, yeah, just overall, I'm excited. American Ninja Warrior, finally back, bro. Just overall, quick picks. How do you feel?
I'm feeling great with the season, man. It is looking better than ever. I am so excited for these changes they brought in. And to let everybody know, we will be covering Celebrity Ninja Warrior and Ninja vs. Ninja very briefly at the end of this episode. All about ANW10 today.
Hey, it's all American Ninja Warrior, y'all. It's all ANW love. It's going to be fun stuff.
But yeah, best change of this season by far. You know, I think everyone would totally agree with me that getting rid of Palm Wonderful is the best thing they've ever done.
Oh my God. I seriously didn't even notice that. Do they have like a run of the night or anything? Like, what is it?
No, there was no run of the night. I went back and I watched it again just to make sure because I was grumbling because they didn't give it away when Daniel ran the course. And I'm like, yeah, here we go. Like, I know what's going to happen. And then it happened. I'm like, wait a minute. They didn't give him anything. Like, there's no Palm Wonderful. It's the best season ever. Right?
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
calling it now.
You all heard it here first, guys. But hey, Rich, you can't get rid of that too easily because we still have the athletically profound run of the night every single week, y'all, happening straight from San Diego, California.
That's right. And so let's go through some of the changes here. We've got a few big ones. We've got the age limit, which already big change because we've got Matisse Owadi taking the course.
Yeah, Armchair Ninja Podcast alumni over there, and honestly, I was saying it going in preseason, and I'm saying it now still. I think this is going to have the biggest impact on the season. Lowering the age limit, I just think we're going to see a plethora of a new generation of young guns that are super, super hungry to show off what they're capable of. I think this is big.
Yeah, we got a couple in this episode, that was for sure. But the Mega Wall was probably the biggest story of the week. Like, that thing totally changes the feel, the excitement of the qualifiers. Even when you have a top ninja like Daniel Gill take the course, you don't know if he can do that Mega Wall.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Not only like live, but it really comes across very well on the show itself. So, as you said, very, very exciting about that. But not only that, like one of the biggest, I guess, criticisms or controversies from last year, and really probably before then, but it really was pronounced last year. A lot of ninjas being very, I guess, upset or help me out, Rich. There's probably a better term for that. Not upset.
Annoyed?
Annoyed? No. Just, a lot of ninjas last year, you know, they were kind of like upset in the fact that, you know, there weren't monetary compensations for all of the training they do throughout the year. You know, a lot of these ninjas, they are gym owners and they do train, but some of them have their own jobs and they have to pay for training throughout the year. You know, and I understand, you know, it's part of your life. You know, people go to the gym and stuff, but for them being in many ways one of the stars for this show and not getting any compensation throughout anything they do, I kind of understand where they're coming from. And the fact that now they have a chance to not only like get money, but to earn, and that's the key, to earn $10,000, that's awesome. Not to mention, I forget how much it is, but it was just announced that the runner that becomes like that goes the furthest, like the last man standing, they also get this big cash prize. So I'm really excited and happy that there's a happy medium happening right now with the show and the ninjas themselves.
Yeah, I think they're fixing a lot of things that have raised complaints over time. Yeah, Last Ninja Standing gets $100,000. Like that's
Wow.
a big prize.
That's a lot, man. I was kind of thinking like maybe like 50,000, maybe 20,000. That's way more than I was even thinking. That's really cool. And you know what? Whoever gets it, they earned that.
So let's get into the episode itself. We had a few new obstacles here, some weird ones, some good ones, and the whole course was just a weird mix to me. Like I didn't find it flowed overly well, but it was interesting.
Yeah, it was, for me, it was like a roller coaster with highs and lows in terms of the fact that, I don't know, I really felt the second obstacle. What's the name of that thing, man?
It's a catch and release.
Catch and release. I don't know if it's the fact that, I've done very similar obstacles in my obstacle course races like Spartan and stuff, but I really did not find that obstacle very appealing in the slightest. It just was nothing for me. But that might be my own personal bias. I don't know, man. You can probably, as somebody that's never seen stuff like that, did you find it appealing at all?
I thought it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. I don't know. It seemed a little simplistic. It had a weird mechanism to it, right? Making it fetch up in there didn't seem overly dramatic or all that difficult, I guess. So then it's just a matter of them just moving along the pipes and jumping over to the cargo net.
It's a second obstacle, so I can give it slight pass because of the fact that, and the only reason I'd give it a pass, because typically I'd be like, it's too easy. But the third obstacle, man, they brought back the bouncing spider. And the bouncing spider, like, when I first saw it, I thought it would be a little difficult, but you guys remember that first year when it came out, that thing took out everyone, and it's still so difficult. Like, the margin for error is so slim with the bouncing spider, so I'm glad they have it back, because if you're gonna have an easy obstacle for the second one, you better follow it up with something that's very difficult. And boy, is that one. So they kind of even themselves out. And that fork, whatever that obstacle is, that crazy balance fork obstacle, absolutely crazy. There was so much nope just for me going into that. Like that, I can imagine the ninjas were probably terrified going into that obstacle, because that one looks rough, man.
I like that one. So catch and release, kind of awkward, but okay. Bouncing spider, not a big fan. Again, awkwardly, the flow of it all just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's okay though. I can see the skills it's at least testing. But tuning forks, crank it up, warped wall, like the back half of that is great. I think tuning forks is one of my favorite balance obstacles now. It's so difficult. It really tests their balance. It's not one they can just kind of jump through. They really need to be able to place their feet and get through it. I felt really bad on the ninjas that fell. Some of them were really, really heart-wrenching to see. Thankfully, they made it through anyway. But yeah, and Crank It Up's one of my favorite from last season. So glad to see it back.
That's a really good point that you brought up, man. And the fact that with the tilting forks, they are like uneven and everything. And as you said, it isn't a balance obstacle that you can literally just like run as fast as you can and like try to use your momentum to just get through it. Like you really have to strategically place your feet in the proper ways while also moving your body forward. There's a lot going on in that obstacle. I don't know how to describe it better than the fact that you can't just run forward as fast as you can. You really, really have to think about where you're placing the feet. So I do like that.
Okay, so let's take a look at some of the runs. In past seasons, we've gone through every single run. I think we're going to skip over that this season. Let us know if you prefer us going through every single run, but we're going to kind of go through some of our highlights, some of our favorites, and we'll see how that goes.
Let's do it.
So it's always interesting to see who the first person that runs the course is. I'm always curious in who they pick. This season, kicking it off, was Father Stephen Gadberry, who's been working with Sean Bryan, and he was pretty good. He's actually really strong. They had a good little segment on him. He just caught the cargo net on the catch and release, but he did make it. He ended up falling on the bouncing spider, which reminded me of how difficult that obstacle could be. So a great first run. I think that was a good choice.
That was a nice introduction. He struggled on certain obstacles. He definitely showed the difficulty in some of the obstacles. He was a fun personality. Vignette was needed. It was nice. It wasn't like overly long or anything. And overall, I gotta say, I think the quality of vignettes has risen greatly. I don't know if you noticed it, bro, but like whoever the graphic design team is, thumbs up. Like damn. Because, yeah, I don't know, just the camera quality and the graphics and everything, just the vignettes are just fresher, cleaner.
Yeah, I always find I take a little bit to get into them again, right? They seem a little heavy-handed in episode 1. By next episode, I'll be good again, but they really played it hard on a few of these.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Yeah. Speaking of, let's go to the next one here. Dr. Favia Dubik. Cancer survivor, doctor, had to relearn how to walk, ended up missing the cargo net. But the thing most notable about her, we have to mention, the screaming this lady did was insane.
It was more of like a screech. Like it's one of the things where you get a shick, right? And you feel like you need to do it, and you go too far. And it was grating, bro. Like it was cool at first. I'm like, oh, you're excited, but then she's like screaming for no reason, and she keeps doing it over and over, and I'm like, ow! This is like nails on a chalkboard. Like, you need to reel it in, lady. And it was hard because like really her story was so like engrossing and everything. I fell for her, but then just all I think about or remember her by is that scream, and whoa.
Well, I mean, really, if you're gonna have a shtick, that one stands out. You remember that one. Like, embrace it more. She's the banshee, right? Well,
no. Don't embrace that, please. No.
Go all out. Just own it. But yeah, actually, no, don't do that. It was a bit much, especially I found afterwards, right? The interview afterwards when she did it, it was like, okay,
that was too much. Yeah. I mean, it's a cool thing to do. You can, do it. It just, context, reasonable amounts.
We have to talk about Karen Wilton, the physician assistant mom, 39, rookie with 7 months of training, showing everyone how it's done in this course. Like, what the heck was that?
That was probably the first shocker of the season for me. I was like, oh, cool, really nice lady, she's doing well. And
oh, she's inspiring. What obstacles is she going to fall on?
Yeah, and she was just like, just going through it. And it wasn't like, I don't know how to describe it, man. She looked like your prototypical first timer where she's kind of struggling on each obstacle, figuring out how to do it. And you're just like, oh, okay. So by the second or third obstacle, she'll fall and everybody will be happy with her. So, and she just kept going on and on. And I don't know, just props. I honestly don't remember much of her story, but that run, it was one of those things where it just really was surprising me how far she was going. And shame on me for doubting her, I guess.
Karen got all the way to the last crank. I thought she was going to complete the whole thing the way she was going.
She got close, man.
Yeah, really great run. Really interested to see how she does in the city finals when it comes back around.
Special shout out before we continue to the Cajun Ninja. That dude was dope. His little bullfrogs, what was it? It was Frodo and something, and a Dumbledore or something like that.
Dumbledore, yeah.
Dope. Those are the type of chicks I like, where it's just like so ridiculous, so out of the blue. Ding for that. That was just awesome.
But coming up next on the course was Matisse, the Kid Owadi, who had the most all-star sideline I think I've ever seen. Just every top ninja that was there was on the sidelines cheering him on.
Well, this kid's been in the ANW community for a very long time. I'm sure most of our listeners know about this kid at this point. So I'm excited because this is somebody, we've talked for the past few years of the new generation of people that have been training pretty much their entire lives. And this kid, probably more than anybody else, embodies that spirit. I mean, he's been training since, I don't know, probably 8 or something like that. I forget the age, but he's been training for a very, very, very long time. And this was his time to really show what he had. And, some people falter under the spotlight. I gotta say, he did great. And he was a little, you could see he's a little nervous at the beginning, but after the second obstacle, you can just see he got the weight off his shoulders and he was just becoming his own.
So Kid, long before I had even heard of him, was on our podcast. It was episode 7. He was actually on here with Andrew Lowe's. And yeah, he sounded very confident at that time. He really knew what he was talking about. And here we are just a couple years later, sooner than we expected. he's running the course and demonstrating that all the hype was real, that he definitely is a ninja to watch. He made it look easy, really, considering how difficult this course was, and we saw so many people struggle with it throughout the episode. Looking back on it, like, he just breezed through it. Like, he didn't struggle at all. I mean, not Daniel Gill level easy, but he definitely showed how to get it done and went for the mega wall. And for a second, I thought he had it. I thought he was going to do it right off the bat, inches away, but he didn't quite make it, and he went up the regular wall. So he was a good introduction to that mega wall, like how difficult it is and how the mechanics work, right? How you have to move and you only have one chance at the other wall when you miss.
Yeah, and particularly because the people that know him know what he's capable of, in particular with the warped wall. And he's 6'2" too, so he's not a short guy. Like, if there's somebody that can do this mega wall, it would be somebody his size, But even he, faltered the first time trying it, which, as you said, just showed off the difficulty of the new mega wall, which is really awesome. Gotta say, Matisse, he kind of gives me shades of a young Flip Rodriguez. I don't know if it's the hat or the baby face or everything in between of the body, kind of like a lanky kid, but he kind of gives me shades of Flip Rodriguez. And in that spirit, I kind of see him as being somebody that's going to connect with the younger audience. And as long as he stays, not humble is the right term, but just, personable, I guess. I think he's going to connect very well to a lot of kids.
All right, moving on to the next ninja was Quest O'Neal. When you talk about like the dramatic stories and the way they shot the vignettes, I don't think anyone's has ever been more dramatic than hers. I don't know what was going on there. They really went all out on her story.
Well, it looked like it was predicated on pictures, so they did this really cool technique where they used a backdrop, like pictures against walls, and they filmed her in a studio playing basketball. It all played, some people can maybe consider a little overblown, but I actually think it played very well to her story, introducing her. It's a story that we've heard a few times before, and the fact that somebody's overcoming the odds, but the way they presented it was different, and also the ways of her overcoming those odds were different in the fact that she found basketball, and she did introduce herself as being, homosexual, not necessarily the prototypical female American Ninja Warrior. She does look quite different from the field, but she introduces herself as saying, like, I'm going to prove to the world none of that's going to keep me down. I'm going to show the world what I have. Yeah, overall, I really liked her vignette, and I really liked her story, and I was very interested to see what she had going into this course, because I could have seen her, I was going like, maybe she'll fall on the second obstacle or something, or maybe I just didn't know what to expect from her, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too, and what made my ears perk up is when they said that she was a course tester last year. And that's when I went, wait, she was a course tester? Like, how far is she going to get? And she just kept going and going. She beats the tuning forks and fell on the second crank. Like, she, like you said, does not match your stereotypical build for Ninja Warrior. So you can easily overlook her, and you are totally wrong to do that, because the grit and determination she showed, I love her. I think she's fantastic, and I want to see more of her for sure.
Everything you said, man. Her run was so incredibly inspiring. I actually had to call my sister-in-law because, every time we talk about American Ninja Warrior, she's like, I love the show, but I can't see myself doing all that stuff because, my sister-in-law is a little bit, I wouldn't say bigger, but she's not a tiny little, specimen of muscle like a lot of these female Ninja Warriors are. And I was showing her, I'm like, look, it doesn't always have to be predicated on just fitness and athleticism. There's a lot more that goes into this. And this woman has, with her determination and her story and the fact that she just muscled through it. It wasn't easy for her. She powered through it. She gave it her entire heart and soul in being for every single obstacle. And you can tell that everything that she did meant so much to her. It was so inspiring. It was fantastic. And Quest O'Neal, by a very, very wide margin, you win the Athletically Profound Run of the Night. Congratulations. Major props.
Couldn't agree more. Great choice for that. Next, we got to see Abel Gonzalez take the course. His dad was there to see him run for the first time. Abel was really struggling, it seemed, at times through this whole course. He had problems on the catch and release. He was swinging the wrong way. He bouncing spider and the tuning forks. He was just all over the place. But he did make it through. He made a real bad run at the mega wall, but he did manage to beat the regular size one. I didn't know what to make of that run at all. It was just a weird, is Abel falling or is he making it? I can't tell from obstacle to obstacle.
I don't know. It's one of those runs where, you just see a competitor struggle, but you also saw shades of just how talented he is. It's like he'd struggle, but then he'd dismount off the catch and release or something and he looks fantastic. So it's one of those weird things where it's just up and down. Hopefully he readjusts now that he's been on these obstacles before. Maybe in the city finals, you'll see him do a lot better breezing through the course. But really, I don't know. I don't have much to say about a story or this run, to be honest with you. I don't know.
What about Casey in the commenting booth? I thought Casey was gone.
Okay, so I got to say, right off the bat, Brent Stevenson, I love this guy. I've hung out with him a few times. I spent a lot of time with him, at the filming of the LA Qualifiers and everything. Great guy and amazing to see him run. This vignette was so unneeded, just so unneeded. And it's obvious because the vignette was basically centered around, hey, I used to date Casey Catanzaro. And I'm like, look, guys, I get it. You want to have Casey on, but there are degrees to everything. And I felt like they were milking it a little too much, Rich. I don't know. How do you feel?
I don't understand bringing her back now. You're making people resent her, and that's the problem that has been for a couple of years now is it would have been fine. People would, there would be not such a divide in the community of people hating on Casey, which I can't stand seeing, but it happens because they keep driving it home so much, and she's not even in the sport now. I don't get why, and it takes away from Brent. Like you said, it's supposed to be about him, but they just wrapped it all in a big Casey wrapper again.
Just maybe because the reason that it was wrapped around a vignette of Brent and Brent's run, it just felt a little ham-fisted and forced. And maybe if she was commentating about Daniel Gill or somebody that had a storyline going into it, Matisse, or actually, why doesn't she do it on Barclay Stockton? Think about it. She passed the baton to her, so maybe that, I'm just saying, there's probably better ways of doing it.
Shrimp boots, yes or no? What do you think?
Shrimp boots. I'm actually for it, which shocks me, actually saying it. I'm all cool with shrimp boots. It was so ridiculous. They are making a vignette completely about shrimp boots. If this guy falls on the first obstacle, I'm going to lose my mind. I might throw my TV out the damn window. But it was so ridiculous. And he actually did well. And it also, it had a beginning, middle, and end of the story, The shrimp boots did make him persevere the furthest he's ever gone in the story. I don't know. It went a little long, the vignette. It could have been shorter. But I'm cool with it. Shrimp boots all the way, bro.
Exactly. You said it so well. I thought this is the most foolish thing I think they've ever shown. And I got into it. I'm totally into it. I will remember that forever. This dude, for some reason, those boots stuck with me, and you just wanted to see him succeed with those ridiculous boots.
And really, it was him, his personality that really made it. You can do it about shrimp boots, but he owned it, and he made it fun, and that's the key. If you had some guy, maybe like a horse abs, that just has no personality, but it's just got this one chick, it just doesn't fit. But this guy is fun. He's making it funny. He knows what it's all about, and he's just going 100% in with the shrimp boots. That's what makes it dope. Yes.
And he, by the way, we didn't even say his name. It's Chris Camber, I think it is.
Yeah, I'm always going to know him as shrimp boots. I don't know what to tell you.
Shrimp boots. Yep. Sorry, buddy. You're shrimp boots from now on.
You are.
They fast forwarded Thomas Stillings. That was a little disappointing, but
a little, man. Yeah.
I just, anytime they do that in the qualifier, I'm hoping that means that he gets a full run in the city finals.
This is the thing, that's a good point that you say, but for me, this season, I'm going to be a lot more forgiving because I saw it last season of this, is the fact that in the city qualifiers, you get introduced to a lot of new runners. So I'm cool with them fast forwarding a few people that we want to see. because we're going to see them in the finals. But if I see Thomas Stillings get fast-forwarded in the city finals, get ready for a rant, y'all. It's coming. ANW calling you out!
But you know who they didn't fast forward? Barclay Stockett.
Yes.
And I was more excited for her run than anyone's this episode. And I was so glad they gave her due. She is amazing. If you haven't listened, she was on the Ninja Babes podcast. I'll give a shout out to one of other ANW podcasts out there. Barclay Stockett's interview on there is fantastic. Go check it out. And hopefully we'll have her on an episode with us this season as well.
Yeah, I had the privilege of, hanging out with her for quite a bit during the LA qualifiers, and just really nice, cool, down-to-earth woman, and very, very strong, compact. I was like, man, I'm towering over you in person. But, she really knows her stuff when it comes to A&W, and very personable. So I'm glad they allow her to show off her personality on this. And also, as we saw, how much this sport means to her.
Yeah. She's fantastic. Her personality, her skills, everything about her run was exciting to watch, including the part where I screamed when she fell on the tuning forks. It was the one part where I just let loose. Like, most of it, I was pretty good. I was just kind of, watching along. That was the part where I lost it. I'm like, no! Yeah. Absolutely gutted me. I did not see that coming.
When it comes to balance obstacles, I feel like that's the big question mark for me. Like, those balance obstacles can get any of your best of the top ninjas, because just not enough ninjas train for it. And if you do train for balance, like, how do you train for the tuning forks? How do you do it? You can't. Right. So it's kind of tough. I don't fault her in the slightest for failing at that, but it was really hard to see her heartbroken. She was so crestfallen, and just seeing that emotion really. You can connect to that. So it was nice to see her show that vulnerability, but it also sucked so much for it being her. I guess, like, it sucks rooting for the fact that other people failed, but I'm so incredibly happy that we are at least going to see her in the finals. She did go far.
Yes. Yeah, she did make the top 5, so we'll see her in the city finals. The top 5 women, to be specific, because they didn't really highlight the women's role this season. It didn't go over great last season. I think it's a fantastic role. And I'm
glad they brought it back. Screw the haters. I'm sorry. You don't hate, like, get over it at this point, because that isn't a fantastic rule. And it really solves a lot of the problems we had in previous seasons with the whole wild card thing. So I'm fully down with it. And if you really want to hate, just want to point out 2 of the women this episode made it in the top 30.
Yes, they did. And Barclay, I like, as much as it would kill me to not have Barclay moving to the finals, I like that there was that question, right? You don't know. It's not guaranteed. Just because she's a favorite, we don't know if she's going through or not. She has to earn her spot.
Yep, that's the key. Everybody's earning it this time.
Quick shout out to Josh Salinas, one of our favorite rookies from last season, got fast forwarded. He missed the mega wall, but he had the fastest time of the night at that point on the smaller wall.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he's doing this year. I have to imagine he's going to Vegas. I don't know. I just that guy and Matisse, I'm really feeling it. They're going to Vegas and going far.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. But first up, we had 2 ninjas left. We had Jon Stewart.
Yes,
56.
Jon Stewart's one of my favorite ninjas, guys. Like, I'm sorry, I just gotta go into it, bro. Jon Stewart. So fun every single year to watch what this guy is capable of. He's one of the top ninjas in the world, and he's so old, but yet he runs like he's more athletic than me, man. And I do obstacle. I just did the Spartan trifecta last week. It's this guy is phenomenal. And I'm so happy that there's representation of just older generations. It's such a high level. And this run of his was so awe-inspiring. I wanted to give him the Athletically Profound run of the night, but really Quest showed something different. This guy, I'm so happy, though. He was able to beat his own record, and he made history once again. 56 years old, completed a qualifying course. That is so insane.
This is one of the few times I've seen him on the show, and I thought, I could do that. when I saw that he started a bakery with his daughter, I was like, you know what? I could probably do that. Like the rest of it, maybe not. But the bakery thing, I think that's probably doable.
You got me there. I was like, bro.
Oh my God. If I had a bakery, I can't even imagine the size it would be. And this guy's still just, absolute beast on the course.
Yeah, so many carbs. Hey, he can carbo load pretty easily, I guess. But yeah, for real though, like the guy he looked way better this year than he has in years past. I think he looked very fresh and comfortable on the course, and I don't know, he very much looked youthful. I don't know what it was, but he didn't look tired. He didn't look drawn out, anything like that.
On a very tough course. Like, this was no joke of a course.
Yeah.
And he looked really, really good.
Yeah, looked great. I mean, even at the end of the Crank It Up, he's like shaking his arms out, just looking super comfortable. Like, dude, I don't know, man. Great stuff. Do you think he's gonna complete the finals course? I don't know. Has he ever completed a finals course before?
I don't think so.
Oh man,
I don't think he has.
Dude, if he gets up there on the finals course, could you imagine? Like, that is some hardcore history right there.
Yeah, there are some older competitors that have taken the course, but not with this level, not the level that he competes at.
Yeah. One thing I want to bring up very quick is they did a fast forward with 3 guys that were able to go to the very end. But one of them was this guy named Matthew Day. Now, they're all newbies, and I don't know anything about this guy really, but they said he was able to go and try for the 18-foot mega wall and failed, just like everybody else has, but still had the chance to go up the regular warped wall and make the fastest run of the night. And they were even referencing that he was something like the Rookie of the Year or like, Ninja of the Day or something like that. Like, they were very impressed with this guy. And we just didn't really see anything of his run. And it's one of those runs where it was fast forwarded, but I really feel like we missed out on a very compelling run and story there. And I really hope we get to see him later on this season, at least in the finals course, because I have a feeling he's got something up his sleeve. Like there's something to see there.
Yeah, I think we've seen Matthew. That name's really familiar to me. I'm betting he's in the National Ninja League. I'm betting we've seen him before.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, that's a very good point. Great job, Matthew. But the fastest time of the night did not hold up against Daniel Gill.
Was there any question, man? Was there any question?
Not by the way he went through. I didn't expect him to cut it in half. It was just an absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he didn't in the end, but he completed that in just the absolute most ridiculous pace imaginable.
Yeah, Daniel Gill's seriously getting very close to Joe Moravsky in terms of technique and just ease of technique in all these obstacles. He's athletic and everything like that, but he's very much got shades of that Joe Moravsky crazy precision. And because of that precision, he gets through these obstacles incredibly fast. So he could be a big threat. And I have a feeling we're going to see him at the top of stage 4 one of these years. If not this year, upcoming. He's one of the people where, anybody can really do it or anything like that. They all say it, but he's one of the few where it's realistically, no, he very much can be your next American Ninja Warrior Grand Champion.
Yep, and he won $10,000 for making it look so easy. He actually beat the Mega Wall and showed us that it can be done. No Palm Wonderful, once again, such a great season. But they did skip over some ninjas completely from what I could see in the final 30 when they counted them down. Jeremiah Morgan, a fantastic ninja from a few seasons back, is back again. He was in 6th place. Andrew Lowe's was in 15th.
Oh, poor Lowe's. He's never going to get love.
16th was Nate Burkhalter. 17th was Steven Tucker.
Wow, Tucker didn't get anything, huh?
Yeah. And it's notable that Karsten and Brent did make the top 30 despite falling on the tuning forks. Yeah. So that was a relief. So that was it. That was our episode 1. Pretty good. I liked it. It was really good, actually.
Yeah, it was good. I'm excited for next week, man. What are your thoughts, really? Because like I can't say anything because obviously I was there, I saw everything that happens. But what are your thoughts
Right.
going into next week? You kind of got a little hint of what the course might be like through college or through Celebrity Ninja Warrior, although not really. But what are your thoughts?
The simplified version looked really simple, but I know that it's really scaled down. So I'm really curious on how they're gonna amp it up.
Without spoiling much, I'm just gonna say Celebrity Ninja Warrior's course is not the ANW course.
Right.
They nerfed it big time.
Yeah, it's cool to get that little preview of it though. So let's take a look at what happened on Celebrity Ninja Warrior. We're definitely not running through all these runs, but
No, I ain't got nothing to say. So you can do your thing, but I'll just say this when it comes to Celebrity Ninja Warrior, because this is all I got to say, to be honest with you. Celebrity Ninja Warrior, it is not for me. I appreciate the fact that it exists. And I, for a lot of fans or whatever that just see this really nerfed easy version of it that might, be down on it, just know this really isn't. I don't think this is necessarily geared for the hardcore fans. It was the one thing where it's like my dad, Papa Bijan, gives me a call and he's like, "Hey, I saw that guy from Dancing with the Stars and that wrestler lady on that Ninja Turtle show that you always talk about," and I'm like, "Yeah, cool." But, it's more for people like that, see their favorite celebrities on this crazy, course. So in that sense, good for them. But other than that, I mean, it was so forgettable. I couldn't care less about this. And an hour of my life, wasted. But I'm happy it exists. It's for a very good cause, and I appreciate everybody that gave it their all. And honestly, special shout out to all those celebrities. They didn't have to do it. They didn't have to put themselves in the limelight. And it seemed like they genuinely trained for it at MLab and a few other gyms that I noticed. And good on them.
Okay, so I'll give my quick rundown. The athletes this year seem to be a lot stronger than last year. Some good runs. Neo looks like he could practically run the regular show. Really did a good job.
Neo looked great.
Nastia Lukin, the one that trained with Barclay, the gymnast, she was actually kind of fun to watch. I thought she did really good. But really the highlight of the show and the one thing that really drew me in was watching Akbar run the course.
Jacked Akbar?
Oh my God, that guy's a monster.
Where did that come from?
I actually didn't think he was going to be able to get past they call them doorknobs, but they weren't doorknobs. That obstacle I thought was going to take him out there, that there was no way he was getting through that, but he gutted through it. Didn't keep his L's, but he got through it.
It's hard to keep those L's. Harder to do it than say it, But honestly, I don't know. I felt like he'd be able to do this particular version of the course, but I was more shocked by his body. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
This dude is so ripped, so jacked. Every bad thing I've ever said about you, Akbar, I take back. I genuinely, I take this moment to apologize. Just, I appreciate you. You could say the dumbest things on this show, and I will be fine with all of them. Just don't hurt me, please. All right, that's all.
Kevin Bull standing next to him just looked like a child. Like, he's so small compared to him. And Kevin Bull's not a small guy. He's ripped.
Nope.
That's it for Celebrity Ninja Warrior. Let's do some Ninja versus Ninja. And I
way
feel
too
bad
much time
because
on that. Moving on.
Moving on. I don't want to go too long on it. I almost wish it had its own episode because this was actually a really fun Ninja versus Ninja episode.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. The stakes were high and everybody came and brought it. Who are the first two matchups?
We had Labreckfast Club versus Frostbite off the bat.
Oh, yeah, that was a big surprise for me, honestly, because I thought it would be a lot more contentious, to be honest with you.
Really?
Like, Frostbite looked really strong earlier this season, but I don't know. Labreckfast Club, they were doing very well.
There's very few women that I give a chance against, Jesse Labreck. And John Alexis Jr.'s height is almost insurmountable. Like, it's just so, with his skill, combined with his skill, because he's amazing, on top of the fact that he's so tall, that you just can't, there's no way, there's no answer to that. And I definitely didn't think Frostbite had it with Nick or Jackson. I just didn't think they could take him down.
Now, did you notice the strategy that they were using that worked very well throughout the episode?
The don't fall strategy?
No,
I'm
man.
not sure.
So they did something that I felt like was ingenious in the fact that when they were going through it, they'd breathe, like they'd go as quickly as possible. Now, if they were next to to their opponent or a little bit in front, and they get to that first, pendulum pad thingy, what they do is they'll swing underneath, grab the other one, and pull them together. So therefore, the other opponent that's on the rope trying to grab onto that first pendulum pad, they can't reach it because now it's pulled out of the reach. And that's why you notice quite a few times, more than often, their opponents having to take a swing back because they pull it out of reach for them and then continue forward. And I felt that to be an ingenious strategy. I've saw it multiple times from that team in particular.
I did notice it happening, but I guess I didn't take it as being deliberate. So now that you say that, that does make sense because it was Labreckfast Club that I saw it happening with. So cool. Very good strategy.
Yeah.
This matchup went in their favor. They did end up taking down Frostbite. Very valiant effort. Nick beat out Chris DiGangi very handily in the one victory they did have. Breaking the perfect record for the Labreckfast Club in the process, but they couldn't make it happen in the end. But the Phoenix Force versus Wolfpack match, that was not how I saw that going at all.
Boy, I mean, going into this episode, I really thought like Phoenix Force had it, and I was pretty surprised, really surprised, just how dominant Wolfpack was, and good on them. I kind of feel like we're sleeping on them, so I'm happy that they were able to show off their skills, I guess.
Yeah, they had a bit of a rocky start. They even called it out in the episode that the Wolfpack didn't get off to a great start. They came to play this episode. Ian especially kicked it up to ludicrous speed and just absolutely destroyed on the course. Cassie on Phoenix Force has been kind of a hit or miss this season.
Mostly miss. Let's be real.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, it was. I did see Jeri winning that one, and she did. But Najee versus Dan Yager. Did you see Dan coming away with that win?
No. Dan's very, very strong, but I felt like Najee's been just next level this entire season. And, going, when they're running neck and neck, it could have been anybody's match because they were very close, but just Najee fell out of nowhere. And it was a pretty nasty fall, to be honest with you. It was on the floating tiles, right?
Yeah, he went face first into the water.
But he swung and caught his leg and everything like that. That stuff makes me nervous. Somebody can really get hurt doing that. I'm happy he's okay, but you can just see he knew, and he was not happy about it. And I hate seeing that. I hate seeing that kind of frustration and disappointment.
So that meant we were going to the finals with Wolfpack versus Labreckfast Club. And before the episode, I would have said Labreckfast Club 100%. But watching Wolfpack do what they did, I thought, geez, this might actually be a good matchup. And oh boy, was it. Ian brought it home because John got his foot wet. Otherwise, it was a very close, very good race.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
As soon as you see somebody get their feet wet, in particular when it comes to the spider zigzag, whatever the heck that thing is called, you're done. Their traction is so important when it comes to that. If you got wet shoes, wet feet, anything, it's not going to happen. And I felt bad for the guy.
Well, it ended up going the other way around in the Chris versus Dan, matchup where Dan Yager got his foot wet and had the same problem.
Oh, that was the thing I was actually thinking of now I think about it. But yeah, either way.
Yeah,
sucks.
I mean, it was the exact same problem they both had, but just the opposite teams. So with the women, we had Jessie versus Jeri, and we finally got to see some women on the extended course. That was missing from the entire season. It was so great to finally see it.
It was missing, and I did not realize it. When they said that Jessie Flex Labreck is going on and might be the first woman to ever, finish the whole thing, I don't know. I was shocked. I did not realize she was the first woman. Did you know that nobody's been able to do it? No women?
Yeah, it's not that they haven't. There's been women able to do it. They just haven't had to do it.
They just haven't had a chance.
Yeah. There's always one woman on the course that falls early and causes it to end early.
Well, in that point then, as much as Jesse Labreck made history, we have to give a special shout out to then her opponent, Jesse Durilio.
Jeri Durilio.
Jeri Durilio, the fact that she was able to go that far gave Flex Labreck the opportunity to continue moving forward and get up that zigzag. And major props to Labreck. She has shown time and time again that she is not only one of the top women in the sport, but circumvents any notions of gender. And I really appreciate that. There's a few women that really, really show that off, and she's been definitely showing off everything she's capable of and more.
Yeah, she showed that in the relays above all else. So in the first relay, it went through pretty standard layout. The women ran first, yada, yada, yada. Big lead for John Alexis. Ian catches up. Because Ian was in turbo mode this episode and manages to bring it home for Wolfpack, keeping them in. So we went to a knockout relay, and I was so confused on what they were doing. They put John Alexis Jr. first and Jesse Labreck on the end of the course, and it just didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense.
I understood why Flex Labreck was in the end. I could have seen her maybe taking the second portion of that relay, but we saw that she's very strong in that climb. So I was very interested and honestly excited to see her take on one of the top male ninjas in the sport and see what she had going into that. Would she be able to take down somebody that's so revered in Ian Dory? I was really excited to see that matchup.
Yeah, I was excited to see it. I was very confused, and I shouldn't have been, because she absolutely 100% dominated. I cannot believe how well she did. She absolutely floored me. She flew through the zigzag climb. She flew through the drumming dice. There was no question whatsoever that she is one of the top ninjas watching her run that. It was amazing. Absolutely great run.
Yeah, she flew through it, man. But not just that, she flew through the rumbling dice and everything. She was so strong, so dominant, and her technique was super clean. Like, everything she did, it circumvented any notions of gender, size, experience, to be honest with you, because Ian Dory's trouncing her and everybody on that team in terms of experience. And yet, she beat him. I mean, they were fairly neck and neck. She had, she had a lead going into it, but it wasn't that big, No,
it wasn't. Yet, not at all.
She just beat him. I really don't know what else to say, It was really cool to see. And once again, I feel like she's making her own name for herself, and I have a feeling, if you remember the early portions of Shades of Jesse Graff, before Jesse Graff, the two highlighted women in the sport were really Casey Catanzaro and Megan Martin. And then Jesse Graff was kind of like this woman on the side being like, she's very strong, but we're still kind of seeing her rise up the ranks. And then she had that explosion that one season, I feel like Flex Labreck's kind of getting that. She's high up there, and we all hear her names, but she hasn't had that explosion of Alyssa Beard yet, or Jesse Graff, or Megan Martin. And I feel like this season we might be seeing that.
Let's hope. I want her to have that shining moment where everybody gets to see what we're seeing here.
Mm-hmm.
So that is it for this week. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151. And once again, everybody, I will be running the course next week, Wednesday, June 6, 2018, Season 10 of American Ninja Warrior. Armchair Ninja Podcast, Bijan will be running the course, kicking butt, taking names, doing it all, interacting with Matt, Akbar, all of them, having tons of fun, and everybody, join with me while the quest for the golden microphone begins! Peace, love, and the deuces, y'all.
Please make sure to subscribe and rate us on Apple Podcasts. That would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, special shout out to Win Coop for 5-star reviews week on iTunes.
Ninja Warrior is back, and we need you to help us spread the word that we are here. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are, share out our posts or make your own. Let them know that Armchair Ninja Podcast is here.